another time.
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Google Developer Student Club, City University of Seattle mock interview. And today is our first kickoff. So my name is Kim. I am GDSC lead.
And my name is Yu Che, and I'm the tech lead in GDSC of Seattle.
All right. What do you think, Spencer? Oh, we have some people here. Hi, Ali. And if you are here, feel free to leave us a comment so we know that you guys are watching, and some housekeeping item as well. If you look in the description of this video, it's either on the right or on the left of the video, you should be able to see the description. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and we'll address them. And if you do not have any question, just say hi, let us know you're here. If you have difficulty commenting on YouTube, I have left a Word document there for you guys as well, so you should be able to access and leave your questions there. All right, so should we get started? Spencer, what do you think?
Yes, I think we can start it.
All right, awesome. So here's a little bit of what we are doing for you guys to know. So a lot of our students is really wanting to have software engineering positions when they graduate, right? And both of us recently have been through a lot of interviews, right, Spencer? And we are here to sort of share our experience and what's like expectation of for the coding interview. So what are we gonna do here, Spencer?
So I think right now we will pull out the question and we will simulate the whole process that you will face in the interview room. So we will go through like step by step, and also we will put some notes on the screen below, and then you can see what we are doing right now.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna be the interviewer, and Spencer is going to be the interviewee. And all right, let's get started. Okay, so hello, Spencer. My name is Kim, and I'm from Fancy Company. Welcome to the interview today. I have seen your profile, and I have known your background a little bit. So how about we get started with the coding interview right away?
Yes, that sounds good to me.
Awesome. So I have sent you a Google Doc. Do you have access to that?
Yes. Let me open it.
Awesome. So you can find your question in the Google Doc. Feel free to take some time to think about it and propose a solution.
Yes. Okay, so the information that I received right now, I would like to do some clarification first. So when we have the integer array, is there any like limitation for the array?
There's the array should always have at least one number in it.
Okay, so it's one number, or yeah, it's integer. So is there any like the limitation of the integer that will possibly go, or is like the integer will be all positive, or is can be negative?
You can assume that it will not exceed integers, and for now we can assume everything is going to be positive.
Okay, sounds good. So what I need to do, I need to move all the 0 to the end. So I assume that there's a bunch of the array. It just maybe look like this. So the input will look like this, like the array type, and then maybe have some 1, 2, 5, 8, this number, and then maybe 0 is in the middle, something like that. And so does this array is sorted or not?
It is sorted. It is not sorted, and
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it is sorted or not. The only thing you need to worry is just the zeros.
Okay. So while maintain the relative order, so I cannot change the order even though I move the 0.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm not able to change order. So for this example that I typed in on the screen, so what we will expect for this example will be the output will be 1, 2, 5, 8, and 0 in the end. Is it correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so let me. So is there any? If all the number or integer in the array is 0, do I need to return the special condition for that?
You can
like this.
You can return the array as it is.
Okay, so I don't need to move anything. Okay, so yeah, so that sounds good to me. So my the edge cases that I want to do, basically I already clarified the limitation and also the edge cases. So 0, 0, 0 consider the edge cases, and yeah, I think that's all for me. And then sorted is not one of the requirements. So what I will do, I will use a pointer to trying to traverse all the element in the array, and if I found anything is 0, then I bring the next element move the next element forward. So for example, this 1, 2, 0, 5 example. So I will have let me scrolling down a little bit. Okay. So I will have the pointer pointed to 1 first, and then I will check the 1 if 1 is equal to 0. If no, then I keep going. The 2 is not equal to 0, and then 0. So when I found this 0, then I will replace this 0 with the 5, because I will pull out next element and then to replace this one. So I will pull out 5, and then I will also update the 5 with 8. So I move all the elements forward, and then I will skip this one, and then in the end I put back the how many 0 that we skip. So that's my solution. So is there any constraint that the limitation that I need to worry about, like the time complexity? I need to do like constant time or the linear time?
What is the time space complexity of your current solution?
So this solution, the time complexity will be, so let me type it. The time complexity will be O of n, because I traverse all the element and then I move it. So the time complexity will be O of n, and the space complexity will be stay in the constant time. So this is one of the solution. Then the other solution that right now I'm come up with is like I will utilize if I don't have any space limitation, then I can put another array. So for another array to keep tracking the all the integer that is not zero, and when I detect that it's not zero, then I can put it back to the new array. And then later I will return this new array. So this is the result array that I'm working on, and this is the original.
So do you think you can come up with a solution with a O of 1 time complexity?
So I think for this question, it's not able to have O1 solution, because we need to go through each element in the array in order to remove the zero. Because if we don't go inside and to check each element, then we are not able to know which position has zero in it. So I think for this solution is we need to the constant time O of n time complexity is the minimized optimized solution that we can do.
Okay. I think out of two solutions that you provided, I prefer the one with O of n time complexity and space it's O of 1. Do you think you can code it up?
Yeah, I can do the coding here. So I will remove this one so that I can keep the question on the screen. So the language that I would like to use is I will use the Java. So I will define a solution, and this solution is called move zero. And inside this function, let me codify. Okay, so as what we mentioned, we have the integer array, and this array will be number, and I will use the pointer to control which one that we are currently traversed in. And I will have the for loop, and I will traverse the for loop. And inside the for loop, I will do checking if the number is not equal to zero. If not equal to zero, then we will move it forward. And so this one, we will keep updating the I. The I will keep update from like I will keep update from 0, and then 1 and 2 until the end. So after this for loop, then what we need to do is we need to fill out the 0 at the end. So I will have while loop to fill out all the empty space with the 0, because we already moved all the non-zero integer forward. So then length. So inside length, we need to fill it out fast and fill out all the 0 in here. So let me double check with the syntax. Okay, so we moving forward. Okay, so I think this is my solution. And do you want me to run the test case for this code?
Before you run the test case, do you want to go over your code one more time and see if there's any errors?
Yes, let me double check with that. So function name, the output. Oh, I should return the value, because this one, the question need to return the array. So this one I will try to do return the integer array here. And while I finish, I will return our numbers array. So that will be the solution that when we call this function, and the return value will be all the zero is in the end.
Okay, and do you wanna? So in your first for loop, inside your if statement, you say nums I++ equals to.
Okay, right here.
Okay. All right. Do you think if you don't find any more errors, you want to run the test case for me, please?
Yeah, so I can use the example like this one. Maybe I can use this one. Then I will like just keep it simple with only 3 numbers here. So for this example, what I expect the result will be 1 and 5 and 0. So first, the integer was the variable I will start with 0. Then inside this for loop, we will go through the first. We will go through 1, and then we check if 1 is not equal to 0. If yes, then we put it back to our position. So we control the I always be the 0. I will be 0, and then after we put it back to 1 to the index 0, then we do the I++. So after this line, the I will be 1, and then we go into the second time this for loop. So the second time we are checking is 0. This num, let me put this one. The num is 0. Then we go into this if for loop to check, and this one is 0. So we will not update anything because this is 0. Then we go into the next one is 5. So right now our I still remain 1 because we didn't go inside this if statement. Then right now we are in the last element, which is 5. Then the 5, and then we check if 5 is not equal to 0 and it's true. And so we update this one. So right now the I is 1, and then so we move 5 from the index 2 to index 1. So that's how we fill out the 1 and 5 in the beginning. So in this stage, the stage will look like this: 1 and 5 in the first 2 elements, and then after that, after this line, the I will be 2. Then we will end it for this for loop because we already traversed all the elements for this for loop. So for this while loop, I mentioned before, this while loop is to fill out the empty number, because right now our array is look like this. So we still need to put the 0 in this position. So we go through. Right now the I is equal to 2, and then so we need to fill out this index 2. So I check the length is I within our length. Then if yes, then we fill it out with 0. So after this line, the array will look like 1, 5, and then we fill out with 0 in here. Then that's our answer. And then I will be also updated to become 3. So when I equal to 3 and then reach back to this condition and it will not fit into this condition, then we will terminate this while loop, jump out the while loop, and then we return our array. So that's the solution that I have.
Mm-hmm. And your time and space complexity one more time, please?
So the time complexity will be O of n, because we use for loop here to traverse all the element inside the for loop. So the n is represent the number of the input value. So it's right here. And then the space complexity will be O of 1 is constant time, constant space, because I didn't use any extra space to like keep record the information.
Yeah, thank you. And how about, so for your solution, what if the input array is empty?
That's a good question. So, but we have this condition before that at least one number in the array.
Okay.
So that's the limitation. So if there's a like the empty array is allowed to this while loop, then I think for this code is still working, because this for loop, it will not get in this for loop, and also this while loop, it will not get in, and it will return the original what it input.
Okay. Perfect. Right. Thank you. And
thank you.
Yeah, that concludes your coding interview. Do you have any questions for me?
So far, no, I don't have any extra question.
All right, then very nice to meet you. And the HR will contact you. All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So back to our audience. So that gives you an idea of what is an actual coding interview is. Thank you very much, Spencer, for allowing me to put you into the pressure and elegantly code up everything and analyze the questions. And yeah, you did a great job. Anyways, so that's normally what we go through in a coding interview. The questions are more complicated. However, we choose this very simple question just so we are able to show you the process. And I think sometimes it depends, right? You have some experience, Spencer, with you have 2 questions in one interview, right?
Yeah, so usually it depends on the company, but most companies that they require you at least within 45 minutes, you need to able to solve at least 2 questions. And yeah, I think that's the requirement or their expectation.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly sum up how you come about as an interviewee, and what's the processes that you normally go through to tackle this? Do you want to have quickly a rundown again, if you can?
Yes, definitely. So usually when you get into the interview room, and usually you will have the casual talk with the interviewer, and then you will ask exchange the information that you guys have, like your background or what you are doing, and then your project, those kind of information. And after that, maybe it takes 5 to 10 minutes, and it will switch to the coding interview right away. So the coding part will look like the basic concept will similar to what today we are go through. So it will give you the question. The interviewer will put the question in here, and the software maybe is depending on each company. Like some company use the CoderPad, or others are HackerRank, something like that. So it's different. So basically, they will give you the question, and then you will get some time to read the question. And while you read the question, you are able to ask them the question, and then you can do some clarification, like what I was doing. So once you do the clarification, that you can type it down, then you are more helping to organize and remember things, because we are under the pressure. So sometimes it will cause you like pressure, and then you will forget something.
So when you say you ask clarifying questions, what are you clarifying?
So I will clarify the basically the limitation of the input and output, and that's the most important part because we are working with those data. So clarify the input and output and make sure the limitation for the variable, like the integer or the type of string, and then how big is the string, those kind of questions you can ask them, like this kind of stuff. So that, and then while you ask, you can type it down, and then also you can have some idea about the edge cases that you are working on, like is the array allow like completely empty, and is the array allow like random number, something like that. So that's what you can consider with. And then also the definitely array you can have like sorted or non-sorted. It also affect your solution, something like that. And after you clarify those information, you can like bring out some test case. So in test case, for example, here is a little bit like depending on the interviewer. Some interviewer will give you the test case directly, and then you can dive into the test case to see if the test cases fit your logic. And if no, you might think about like clarify with the interviewer to see if you guys are on the same page.
Yeah, and I think normally most of the time we don't have any test cases, right? So normally they will just give you the question. If you could scroll up a little bit, Spencer.
Yeah.
They'll just give you the original question as it is, and then they don't want to give you any example because they want to see you asking question, trying to clarify to see if you understand the question. So yeah, giving example and try to run the test cases is definitely going to help, and it's a must to make sure you understand the question.
Yeah, definitely. So after you have the test case, and then you can try to propose your solution. So like what I did, I proposed a solution from here to here, like this part. It's a solution I proposed that I used this pointer to show them like what's out my logic here. And some people, it depends on depends on you. Like some people like to use drawing, and some software they allow you to draw something, so you can also have that option. And my personal, I would like to use like the just typing and then like going to the different array, something like that, and it's more clear to me. So you can find the way that you are most comfortable with, and then it will give you more confidence while you are in the interview room. And after you clarify the information and the test case and your logic, and you can also propose your time complexity and space complexity. And this one, I would say is optional, because some if you are not sure about time complexity and space complexity before you code, then I would suggest you like don't like bring on this topic in the beginning, because it might get you confused and get the interviewer confused what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so I have a question. So let's say if the interviewee proposed a time space complexity which is not correct, then how do you suggest them? Let's say they propose the time space complexity before they code it up, and then what they say is not correct. Then if you are in that situation, what would you do?
So if it's not correct, then I will try to like run my test case to see if anything that my logics not fit into the time complexity that I propose. And you might also think about like having the communication with the interviewer, trying to figure out, oh, so which part I'm missing, which part like I didn't express clearly. So maybe you guys have the different idea about your logic, something. So that's why you guys will come up with a different time complexity. Then then after you guys clarify all the information you have, then you guys are on the same page. Then I think you are good to go.
Then sometimes the interviewer, they will sort of give you guys a hint. They'll be like, are you sure about the time space complexity? It could be just a test question, or it could be they're giving you a hint that maybe your logic is not correct. So take a hint. And like Spencer say, right, if you are not sure about this, don't propose the time square complexity in advance. And just say, hey, here's my solution, and I explained it to you. Do you think I can code it up? And after that, I'll explain to you the time square complexity. So that's another way to go as well.
Yes. So after you like propose the time complexity and space complexity, and then you are able to enter the like coding part, the main part, the coding part. So I would suggest you, if you want to start coding, and you can ask the interviewer, say, oh, so I would like to start to code. And then if they say, sure, and then you can start to code. Just give them the hints that what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, while you code, so this part is really dependent on person. And you can talk while you code, and then you can also code for a part of the code. When you code, like for example, if you after you code this for loop, and then you can like stop for a while and then to explain what you're trying to do for this for loop and this like if statement, something like that. So it depends on what kind of method you want to do. So you can choose to while you code and then you explain right away, or you code first and then you explain later. So you can depend on which one you are more comfortable with. So, but that's the basic idea. Like you need to explain what you are doing with your code. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after you code, you should always check for errors to see what you did is correct as well. So like I did before, I actively give Spencer some time to hint that, hey, there's some error in his code, right? But sometimes the interviewer will not give you that. So you can always ask it by yourself. You can be like, hey, I finished coding. Do you mind if I go over my solution one more time? And while you do that, try to calm down and think and try to see if there's any typing errors, there's anything you can improve in your logic. So that's one thing. And then always take a hint, right? Sometimes if the interviewer like, hey, check your for loop again, probably something is wrong in there.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, always checking the error that on your code, or sometimes it's the logic error. It's really, really hard to find it. But you can try to run the test case by yourself. So that's what I'm doing. I run my test case after my coding, and then trying to see if there's any logic error that I in my code. So while you run a test case, you can see, okay, so this part is correct, this part the variable is updated, and then what in this stage and what kind of value or array type I have, and then you kind of know what you are doing with your code. So usually the purpose for doing run the test case is to trying to double check with your code, just to make sure that there's no like bug free with your code.
Yeah, and so when we say run the test case, just a reminder that most of the time, about 9 out of 10, when you have a coding interview, there's not going to be a real IDE. It could be CodePad, it could be a Word doc, or it could be a similar software, right? But they normally don't let you actually run the program. So when you say run the test case, you actually have to do what Spencer did, which is go through your code, try to analyze it as if you are a debugger, and try to figure it out. Sometimes you get lucky, you get to run the code, but that doesn't really happen. So
yeah. So that mostly is the like, and after you guys run the test case, if you don't have any question, or maybe you guys will like discuss about the optimized solution, if there any like possibility you can optimize your code, and you will also like think about that and then have the discussion with those kind of solution. And after that, and I think that's basically all the process you will been through.
Yeah. We have a question from the audience. Can the times complexity and space complexity be reduced from O1 from O of n to O of 1?
I think the time complexity is for me, I don't think we can reduce the time complexity for the from O of n to like the faster logic, because we need to go through each element in order to know where the zero is located. So it's hard to reduce from the O of n to the constant time complexity. But you can have that, but just let me know and comment your solution below, and I will check it out to see maybe your solution will be better. And for the space complexity, I think right now the constant time is the most optimized solution. So there's no way you can be better for that.
Yeah, I don't think for this question there's O of 1 for time, because you have to look for O anyways.
Yes.
But yeah, it could be a trick question as well. Like the interviewer can be like, "Oh, can you do O of 1?" Just to see how you would respond. And the way Spencer did before was very gracefully. He just say, "Well, let me think about it, and I don't think that is possible." And then you explain why it's not possible. So again, communication, letting other people, the interviewer, know what you're thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's what the coding interview looks like. And again, housekeeping item, if you have more questions, feel free to dump it in the chat. If not, you can leave it in the Word doc that's available in the description of the video. And again, this is a simplified version, but normally the questions are more complicated. It's normally tend to be in the level of trees, graphs, and linked lists, and so on and so forth. So do practice a lot. And we are planning to keep this mock interview style for a while. So if you ever feel like, hey, I want to give it a shot, and you want to be the one who being interviewed, feel free to let us know. You can shoot us an email. You can comment in this video, or let us know through Slack or Discord, and we can always give you a mock interview, either offline, private, or live stream, whichever you're most comfortable with. And yeah, and Spencer, I think one thing to point out is when you receive the question, you were able to start speaking right away, right?
Yes.
And say something about the solution right away. And I think this is a part that it's hard as well for people who are not experienced with interviewing, right? So I guess the note here is, even you see the question and you're not really sure what the question is asking, or you just your brain totally go empty, still try to say something. Say, like, even you read the question out loud, it's good. Don't stay quiet, right?
Yeah, I think if you don't understand like what the question is talking about, maybe you can ask the interviewer, and then they can give you more like idea about the question, or they can provide some like analogy for this question, so you have better understanding about what we're trying to solve.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And then last bit. So you are able to do this very smoothly. Do you have any suggestions for people who are preparing for their interview, how they can go about this? How should they prepare?
Yes. So this is the most tricky question during this whole interview, but I will say practice the basic idea first. If you don't have any idea about what we trying to do today, then trying to learn the concept first, like learn the basic concept, basic question. The one way you can do that is to find those like simple question that on your textbook, if you study the Java or if you study the Python, you have the Python textbook, and you can find the question and to practice the question from those textbooks, and then you can learn the skill from that. So as long as you build up your some like basic knowledge, then you can start to like going to see the LeetCode question, something like that, and then you have better idea like how the question will be look like in the real interview. Yeah, so I think the key point is understanding the basic idea about data structure and algorithm. So you don't need to like understand each single one, but you need to have some kind of idea like what this is doing and what this algorithm is doing and how I can apply this algorithm to our daily life or daily activity. Yeah, so that's the basic idea here.
Yeah, and when we say study the data structure and algorithms, it's really important that you really understand what you study as much as you can, because even though you can practice a lot, but it's most of the time when you show up in an interview, it's probably going to be a new question that you've never seen before. So don't try to memorize the solutions. It's not going to help you. It's better that you understand the actual knowledge of the data structure and algorithm. So then if you see a new question, you're going to be able to apply it, right? And next question. So there's a lot of people suggest to grind LeetCode a lot, right? So do you think just grinding LeetCode is enough?
I think this question, it depends. So if I would say that means separate into the different level of the learner or the interview the candidate. So if you don't have any experience about the programming or anything concept, then I would suggest you to learn the basic idea first, then trying to find some easy question on LeetCode and just to test your basic fundamental, is it solid enough? And then as long as you are comfortable with those questions, then you can try to solve the harder question. Or if you are those people who already have the fundamental or foundation, pretty strong, solid foundation, then I think you can try to use LeetCode, or you can try to solve the question or trying to look at the question that other people are facing, something like that, and then you are able to see how they react, and then trying to learn from other people on LeetCode. So LeetCode is not just the tool, but it's the platform that you can learn from other people's solution. So as long as you're trying to learn from other people, then you can also get improved by your code.
Yeah, and also one thing is LeetCode, sometimes they have some good articles and learning path for you to go through. So I think that's something for you to consider as well. It's free. Some of them take subscription, but still consider it if you're having an interview coming up. I think that's something important as well. And again, doing LeetCode is good, but be careful about it. Right? Because like I say, the way the interview goes is very different from when you do LeetCode. When you do LeetCode, everything is there. They give you examples, they give you sometimes hints, solution, everything is there. So you don't get to think too much. But in the interview, there's only one question, and then you have to figure out everything by yourself. So be careful when you do LeetCode. It's really good, but don't rely on LeetCode only. Right? And yeah, I think that's it. There's still so many things to share, but we can, I guess, slowly do it week by week. And so do you have any last comments for the audience, Spencer, before we leave this?
I will say, don't give up. I know the process is pretty hard and difficult for some of the people, but as long as you try your best to do that, and I think the reality won't fail you.
Awesome advice. Yes, definitely practice makes perfect, right? And try your best. I know it's gonna be very stressful, but if you guys ever need help, feel free to reach out to us, and we can always study together. Yeah, think of why you like coding in the first place. And there will be rejections, but it's okay. It's a progress. So keep going, keep us posted. We would love to know if you pass or fail an interview, because either of them can be really good experience as well. And yeah, so I just checked. There's no more question from the audience. And yeah, if I'm gonna give it a last chance for our audience to type in if there's any other questions, comments, anything. If not, then we'll call it a day and we will see you guys again every week on Wednesdays. And yeah, once again, there's our website, gdsc.community.dev, and you can find City University of Seattle there. In the description of this video, there is our schedule and a list of a document of questions. If you do not want to comment on YouTube, you can always comment it on there. And again, if you have any questions, if you want to reach out to us, you can always email us at gdsc.cdu@gmail.com. And we are always here, happy to help you and happy to connect. Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Spencer, for taking the role today. And thanks everyone for being here. We're going to call it a day. I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes back, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.